So, hello. My name's Yabby. This is I guess, my somewhat of a commentary of my life, really. Almost like a little journaling thing. I tried writing, like having a regular journal when I write stuff down, but man, that shit hurts my hand. It doesn't hurt my hand, but it gets really uncomfortable after a certain amount of time. So, I thought about why not making videos and post them on YouTube, right? And there's not gonna be much of really like there's obviously it's gonna be an algorithm based thing, I think, but at the end of the day, it's not like I'm looking for a target audience. I'm just gonna post, caption the video. That's it. If the algorithm finds you, that's pretty sick. If not, it is what it is. But I don't normally sound like this. Over the weekend, it was my birthday, so my friends and I went out on both days, Friday and Saturday. And my voice sounds like this because, pretty sure for people who've seen this that are 21 and up and have been to a club or a bar, it's very hard to hear anyone, so it's just my friends and I, like, just straight up yelling at each other for fucking 4 hours. And so, but the topic of, I guess, today's video um, is that I'm 25, and it's crazy. I was talking to my friend at the gym today, and he was like, "Yo, man, happy late birthday! How old are you turning?" And I was like, 25. And then, like, right when I said that out loud, I was like, "Damn, it's not old. Obviously, 25 isn't old, but like, it's like something in my body, it's something in my mind. I was like, oh shit, like I'm 25, right? And so I, you know, I feel like 25 years is quite a lot. Really very eventful life, to be honest, right? A lot of ups, a lot of downs. Was there from middle school when iPod touches became a thing, to high school having people starting to get iPhones, and then all of a sudden now anyone and almost everyone has an iPhone. But yeah, I mean, I feel like once you turn 20, 25, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, as I'm approaching 30, it's when you start to realize that there are certain landmarks in life that you feel like you're supposed to already have hit by now. Um, and it's good to have a goal, right? I think it's important having a goal because having a goal takes you a long way. It helps you stay motivated, it helps you stay disciplined, it's a driving factor to help you get up in the morning and so much more. But at the end of the day, it's also like it can be tiring, right? So for an example, I'm finishing up college now, right? I have about a semester left, and I'm so excited to finish, but I'm graduating a bit late, right? You know, and as an undergrad, and it's good. I think finally I'm like finishing up colleges. The job pool's horrendous right now, right? But regardless, I'm finishing up my degree, and I'm a first generation American. Right, my family's from Ethiopia, and there's always that important factor of school and education. And I myself already know the importance of education. I know what value it holds, what weight it holds behind you, and certain positions and jobs you want to work for certain companies. So there's things I already know that. But sometimes when I'm with my friends who they're already so much further in their career, then sometimes it kind of just feels like it doesn't feel very good. It's kind of like the best way I can really describe it. I currently, my like part-time, part-time, but as in my only, like, I'm not a full-time, but like I do Uber in my part-time, which is a nice side hustle because it allows me to work kind of whenever I want. I don't have a designated schedule, and it allows me to prioritize studying, right? Prioritize studying, and then lifting. I'd also do powerlifting, so I try to get in the gym at least 3 to 4 times a week. Just hit my certain compound movements, my accessories, do what I need to do. Um, but I'm with friends who work for big tech companies, and they're making so much money, and it's awesome. Like, I love to see my friends do well. But sometimes when we're hanging out and we're buying drinks or food or going shopping, like getting clothes together around the same area, or anything, it's just like these people have much more money to spend. And sometimes when I realize that, I'm like, damn, like maybe I'm just behind in life. And it's a pretty shitty feeling. A lot of my friends, they try to text me, motivate me. They're like, dude, you got it, man. You're just around the corner. Everything's there. You just gotta lock in for these next like 6 months or anything. And I'm doing the best I can. But it there's only, you know I could still get distracted by like my internal struggles of feeling behind. I have friends who have kids. I have friends who are now getting pregnant. I have friends who have been in long term relationships, friends that are getting in relationships, friends that are married. You know, I have friends who are getting their masters. I know people getting PhDs. You know, like I said, people already working full time positions, everything like that. You know, making their way up the ladder in terms of their career, and to that, like that's awesome. But sometimes I get stuck in this like, damn, like why do I hang out with people who are just so much further me in life? And sometimes I get this feeling, and I know they're not. You know, all my friends, I know they're not those type of people, but you know, I kind of get that feeling like, are they looking down on me because of it? And it's kind of like, I don't say it out loud, of course, right? Because I'm not a mood killer. Like that's not my thing. Like if I feel like I'm like internally struggling, I keep that to myself. I'm not gonna be like, hey man, are you guys looking down on me? Like I don't ask that because 9 times out of not well 10 times out of 10, why would I ask that? You know, unless I'm like genuinely like I'm, it's really bothering me and I'm like shutting myself off from the friend group. But I mean, you know, I came here to just talk about people who are also in that position. You know, where you know we all know that progress isn't linear, no matter who you are. Progress isn't linear, but sometimes when you know you see the success of other people, it feels like it should be. And as if when you feel like it should be, then you just feel yourself further slipping behind, especially because to you your progress isn't linear. So when you see other people just making progress and continuously going up in life, and you feel like you're making progress, and then you hit this like, you know, I forgot the term, but like you're not making much progress, and sometimes it seems like you're even losing progress. Then it's a really frustrating thing because you're watching people above you strive and do more. And I don't know, it's a lot. You know, it's frustrating because I'm 25. You know, I would like by now I would like to start, you know, going on dates. You know, start to start making progress in a career, start my career doing something. You know, and these are just one of those thoughts that kind of just keeps you up at night. Like right now, I don't know if you can see, but it's almost 1 o'clock. 12 a.m. 12:56 or 12:25. Right, so it's one of those things where you know I had a productive day. You know, I did some studying, and then I went to go to the gym, met up with my friends in the group chat. You know, got my lifts in, did what I needed to do. You know, got food after. You know, came home relaxed, preparing for the next day. But then I'm just by myself, and I'm like, damn, like I it just keep it's like a bothering. It's like a sensation that just bothers me. But I don't know. Living 25 years, it's there's a lot. You know, I've had a lot of other moments. You know, I've recognized and been able to learn who people who I consider like my true friends are not. You know, I've had a lot of different friend groups. You know, I'm one of those people who I've had like certain like a certain friend group that I'm always seem to be like around. But at the end of the day, like I'm very sociable. Like I love meeting new people. I'm like one of those people who my friends would say that if we're out in the bar in the middle of somewhere, they're like, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw someone you know, right? Like last Monday, I went to the Denzel Curry concert, and my friend was like, I wouldn't be surprised if I saw someone you know, which is out in Baltimore, out in Baltimore in Silver Spring, and then boom, at the end of the concert, I run into my friends, and I'm like, wow, like that's where I was like, okay, I really know people at the most random places, and so I'm very sociable, but I don't know, it's like a weird like it's like this weird like sometimes I wish I was a little antisocial, right? Because it allows me to be alone and kind of like enjoy that like feeling. Like I don't have to worry about like damn like I don't really have FOMO, but I'm like damn like if my friends ask me to hang out and I say no for like the X amount of time, then I don't want them to start thinking I'm being dissing, you know. But I feel like some people just don't care about that, and I envy you, man. Like that's something where I just can't like I just cannot really get past. But at the end of the day, I usually like 9 times out of 10, I end up enjoying like going out, even if I didn't want to, or hanging out with my friends. Because sometimes just like those, that energy that kind of radiates off your friends, it feels like it like you're absorbing it, and you're like, damn, like now I'm, you know, now I'm happy, I'm in a good mood, I'm down to go get food, I'm down to do this, you know, anything like that. And so, you know, I think by the age of 25, it's good to know who are your friends, right? People that are just not your friends because of similar interests, but if you know push comes to shove, they're there for you, whether it be through like a breakup or financial struggles or personal struggles, family issues, everything, right? I think that's important for your growth, because if you're just always around people who just want to drink and get fucked up or smoke or do whatever they want and then not really seem to reply to you when needed, then those are kind of like people that you shouldn't really be around, right? It's never fun, because then you start to question your self-worth. You start to be like, damn, like, am I not worth responding? Am I not worth like helping? And then of course, right, everyone knows once you start questioning your own self-worth and you kind of go down this rabbit hole of like, damn, like I'm actually a loser, I'm actually this and that, so I say by the age of 25, it's important to know who are your friends. um, and of course have a diverse friend group. I think that's so important. You meet. I have friends from, of course, I have friends from Ethiopia. I have friends from South Korea, Vietnam, the Philippines. I have friends from Mexico, El Salvador, Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, Honduras, Ghana, Nigeria, Egyptian, Moroccan. I have friends from Spain. I have friends from Italy. I have friends from everywhere. And I think that's so big. I think you need that, right? I think when you're always around the same people that kind of have like these guys pretty much have the same upbringing, same language, same food, same everything. I think when you kind of meet people like that, it's kind of cool. But when you're constantly surrounded by it, you get kind of bored, right? You want to try new things, you want to meet new people, see how other people are like, other cultures, other food. And I think that's another thing too is, diversify your interests, right? Like growing up a majority of my life, I kind of listened to rap. I would say rap is like a majority of my music. Like I mean, I know he's batshit crazy now, right? But like I grew up listening to Kanye a lot. I grew up listening to a lot of Kendrick, Lil Wayne, Drake when I was younger. Even though I don't like Drake now as much, right? But a lot of rappers. But during my time in college, I started like exploring my music genre, my music horizon. Now I listen to a lot of Ethiopian jazz, which is great. I listen to a lot of bossa nova, Brazilian jazz, Japanese 80s city pop music that puts me in a great mood. Different artists, different rap artists, everyone knows about the big, Kendrick, Drake, Lil Wayne, but there's other great artists that I feel like don't get as much recognition, like Denzel Curry, JPEG Mafia, West Side Gun, that whole Griselda group. That boom bap rap is always so sick. Um, and I feel like sometimes you just don't have to like understand everything. Like I feel like as someone who like I grew up listening to Kendrick, I always stress the whole like, oh, you gotta know what the music is about. But sometimes that's just not it. Like if you vibe with the music, you vibe with the music. I don't understand fucking Japanese. Yeah, I've been watching anime and reading manga since I was like in the third grade. But that doesn't mean I understand Japanese. If the beat and the music kind of gets you moving and you enjoy it, then you enjoy it, bro. Let it be in your playlist. And ultimately, same thing with like shows and music. I grew up watching anime, like I said, so I'm the last person to tell people that like, nah, man, I heard that type of stuff is weird, right? Like I have friends who are really into Lord of the Rings, really into Star Wars, so I can't be like, nah, man, I'm not with that type of stuff. Like that's just not it. Like I had never given it a try, and I can't be that type of person because that's what almost everyone says about anime. Oh, it's just not it for me, and I'm always like, well, try this. So people do the same thing. So try new things. You know, in college is a great experience. College is one of the best experiences to try new things. You know, join that random club. Take that class that you didn't think you'd want to take. I when I first got to college, I was wanting to do exercise science. I wanted to go into physical therapy because I grew up playing soccer. Now I do powerlifting, so I was always in that like somewhat of the athletic field or setting, and so I wanted to stay in it. But then I took when I was younger, I used to always be into like astronomy. So I took a physics class, obviously, because that was one of the prerequisites for exercise science, and I did really well. And I was under the notion that I was bad at math because I got lazy in math in high school. So when I went to college, I kind of had that same mentality. But I did really well in physics when a lot of people kind of struggled in that class, even after barely passing college algebra. So I was like, let me retake college algebra and try. And then I actually put in the efforts, and then boom, I ended up switching my major to like math and physics, which now I'm doing cybersecurity because math and physics was a great field. I made a lot of great people, a lot of great opportunities, but it was just at a certain level, it was just too much, right? And I started to get that like there's that term, right, where it's like you feel like you're not supposed, like it's an ego something. I forgot the exact term, but I really started to hit, So now I'm doing cybersecurity and I love it. It's great. I met a lot of people who it's a great field because it allows me to use my quantitative skills and my people skills, right? If I end up working in groups, anything like that, that's great. It allows me to interact with other people and get the work done. But if I have to like, use my quantitative skills, whether it be programming or like creating data analysis charts or other softwares, then I'm pretty good at that too. So it allows me to use multiple skill sets to my advantage. And that's something that I didn't realize or thought I would have ever been good at if I hadn't take the risks of majoring in math and physics, right? If I was still decided to grind through exercise science, who knows where I'd be right now? Maybe I would have been done with school by now and working. Maybe I would have gone through PT. Who knows? But at the end of the day, I feel like every choice you make in your life has led up to where you are now. Like I know for a fact that there's a lot of people that I would have never met who I consider my closest friends if I probably had graduated earlier and if I had, moved somewhere else for work. Because some of my friends now I consider my closest friends, right? But it's kind of hard to tell. Um, I'm trying to think. There's a lot. I feel like there's a lot to take away from being 25, right? I was telling my friends earlier that I kind of feel like this is the last time, for a little bit maybe, that I'll like really celebrate my birthday. You know, and I say that because like I've just never been too much to care a lot about my birthday. Like it's cool to be surrounded by my friends, but I don't like the whole attention, right? When I'm going to a bar and everyone's singing my name or singing happy birthday, or when I invite people over and they sing happy birthday and anything. It's to me, it's like I can't stand it, right? But I'm the opposite when that idea applies to other people. If it's someone else's birthday, I'll fucking let the whole world know it's their birthday, especially if you're one of my best friends. I'll buy you, I'll get you something that, I know that you've been looking for or wanting to get or something. And so I think it's always so important. Um, but it's just not it for me, right? And so, no, kind of one thing is prioritize. It's good to care about other people and be caring and be empathetic or sympathetic, but it's also important to care about yourself more, right? At the end of the day, you're going to have your mom, your dad, your friends, you know, there are going to be people that support you, right? But sometimes when you're struggling in life, whether it be through internally, you have this gut feeling that you're behind or you're just not up to par with other people or you're just not doing well, you're not doing what you need to, and you have your friends and family, then everyone feels like you know everyone's literally letting you know they're there for you. It's like I have so much support, but sometimes it feels like I have no support, but I know that's not the case, right? So that's kind of something you kind of have to get over. It's so easy, right? It's easier said than done. Just man, just get over it. But I'm telling you from personal experience, it sucks. It sucks, man. One minute I'm on TikTok, doom scrolling, and next thing you know, I'm facing the wall at 3 in the morning, just like wondering what's my point? Like, what am I doing? My friends have to get up at 7 in the morning, get to work by 8. Get their job that pays well at this nice company, while I just wake up whenever I wake up, study for a few hours, turn in assignments, do whatever I need to do, go to the gym, and then it may or may not work, right? And so it's okay to be behind. It's kind of ultimately it, right? Because I'm 25. That's was in that age where you really start comparing yourself to other. It's okay to be behind. Um, and you always gotta uplift yourself because you know if it's 3 in the morning, your friends are gonna be awake half the time. More than half the time, your friends are gonna be awake. Your parents are gonna be awake. So you always have to remind yourself that I'm working towards my goal. You know, Big 25, man. It's crazy. You know, my little cousins are calling me Unk. At first, I was kind of like, ah, I get the meme, but then now I'm just like, fuck. Like, I'm not Unk, but compared to them, I kind of am. So I feel old, but I know I'm not. I know I'm still young. I have my whole life ahead of me. You meet people who are much older and they say the same thing. I'll tell them about what I'm going through, and then they're like, how old are you, man? And I'm like, oh, I'm only 25. And they're like, come on, dude, you have your whole life ahead of you. They're like, I wish I thought about like that stuff like that when I was younger. He's like, you're already mature as it is. So people have different perspectives on you alone, right? So as long as you positively view yourself where you are in life, nothing's gonna stop you. If you have goals and you're willing to do whatever you can, nothing is gonna stop you, dude. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Even at the bar, I have some friends where I feel like when we're drunk, that's where we're most vulnerable. Like my friends are like, I love you, bro. Like I've known you since middle school, elementary school, high school, blah blah blah, man. He's like, I want you to know I'm there for you. I want you to start thinking of me more as, someone to rely on, not just like a party friend or anything. And then I'm letting them know, like, dude, fuck yeah, man. Like, I love those moments. It's great. Sometimes I'm like, ah, man, we have to say when we're drunk, but I know that like they mean it really. I know that if I were to call a friend, during the day or something, and I'm like, hey man, something happened. Like I really need someone to talk to. I need, quick money or something. Then I know there are people there that will be there to help me. And more than half the time, they want to help. Like it's like, because nobody wants to get hit with that what if. Damn, like what if I was there? What if I had responded to his text? So surround yourself by people that care about you. Care about yourself. It's always important. Make sure you surround yourself by people who care about you. It's just as important. And like I said, man, just you got it. It's my first video. I mean, I don't know what type of audience. I don't know where the algorithm will lead this to, but hopefully, the right people hear this. Hopefully people that are going through some sort of quarter life crisis. They feel like they're lacking in life. Whether you're older, whether you're younger, it doesn't matter. I hope that this type of commentary of my life picks up on the right people. And I'll have other videos, right? It won't always be something as serious as this, right? Some videos I'll probably be talking. Excuse me. I'll probably be talking about like my favorite soccer team. I read a shit ton of manga, and I think that there's so many great series to talk about. Some that help with internal problems, external problems, approaches to so many topics. I know that sounds kind of corny, but it's true, man. And anime manga, the Japanese media does a much better job portraying like real life scenarios and how to approach some of these problems than most American comics or series to begin at all, to be honest. And so, the state of the powerlifting, soccer. So there's so many things to talk about. I'll probably try to upload at least once a week. Sometimes, if I have more time, twice a week. But we'll really see how it goes from there. But yeah, man, if you like the video, just like, comment, and subscribe. And obviously comment like what you're going through in life. I mean, I have like fucking 5 followers, right? So it's not like I won't be able to read the comments. I'll see everything. Hopefully comment too, reply. So yeah, man. See ya.